Hey YouTube, Zealous Talon here with day 2 of my Spyro's Adventure review. Today we're looking at the basic fire element characters. Yesterday was water again. If you haven't seen that, please go watch it. This is my little thingy I'm doing to celebrate 100 subscribers. So here we go. First off, we've got Sunburn. He was sort of the last, sort of second to last fire character available. He came with the Dragon's Peak Adventure Pack, so he was the last one that I got, because the Dragon's Peak Pack didn't come out until about spring of 2012. He's really cool. His concept is that of a Phoenix Dragon hybrid, so he's got elements of, he's got the overall body shape of a dragon, but like all of his detailing, he's got like a beak, feathered wings, feathers all down his body, very bird-like, scaled on all 4 of his legs. So he kind of looks like a dragon wearing the hide of a bird, except his underbelly has kind of got those wider scoots in a metallic blue that's kind of the only reptilian or draconian aspect to him. He's primarily in a kind of a bright red, and even his eyes are in the same color. He has a very thin yellow iris, and a nice kind of metallic blue just outline to his eye to kind of break it up. His upper beak is painted yellow, but the lower half of his beak is not, and I can't remember if that's accurate to the game or just a paint app that they might have missed. He's got a nice airbrush effect to all of the yellow except his even his crest is kind of. But on the tips of his wings, leading up from his talons, on his tail, even. You could tell if he was stretched out, he'd be kind of a larger figure, but he's all kind of like got his tail curled and rearing up. When I first saw the promo images of him, I thought he was a griffin. I was like, that's kind of fucked that fire wouldn't have a dragon, but no, he's part dragon, part phoenix. So, and I love his gameplay style, like, because he just like teleports around everywhere and dashes and breathes fire, and he's just kind of awesome. Next is Slinger, who is honestly my least favorite of the fire characters, and really just one of my least favorite overall, unfortunately. Like the water, each fire character has a differently sculpted base, so but Slinger is just, I mean, he looks kind of cool, but his gameplay sucks. He's just atrocious, and which is kind of a shame because he looks rather cool. He's got, the gold bow and the fiery arrow. You can see a couple molded into his quiver that's, in black with a gold stripe across it. He's got kind of a tan tunic over, some brown pants, light brown shoes, and then he's got, his arm bracer right here with some gold highlights. I love that he's got the very samurai-esque hairdo going on there with the, just the very cropped ponytail and the little tube thing there. And he's obviously like some kind of elf with, the green skin and these ears, but I love that he wears a blindfold. He's like kind of like this blind samurai archer sort of going on, and that's really cool. I mean, that's kind of what I like about him, is that he's friggin' blind, but he's still like shooting you. It's just that his damage is terrible. Next is a Ruptor. He was one of the initial characters released along with Slinger. So, when the game first came out, he was, you could find him on the shelf. He's kind of like a lava elemental, and I dig him in that regard. He's just, like, I love his concept. He's just, the execution is a little bit bland to me. He's just kind of a blob in like every way, shape, and form, which kind of makes sense, and his texturing and detail is great, and that, he's got the smoother, more liquid magma at the, on the bottom of his feet and at the tips of his arms, and, you can see a little spike, like magma trying to come out of him, like he's erupting, but everywhere else on him is like cracked and darker red, like it's cooling. Nice yellow teeth, yellow eyes with red irises. he just, you know, and when there's other characters like Stump Smash and oh, who was the other one I was thinking? Prism Break, that have kind of the same general build but with a lot more detail going on. He kind of sits there. He doesn't really pop out like a lot of the other ones do. But, you know, he's a really fun character to play as, rather effective. But, you know, he's just very kind of simple colors and just kind of overall just not too standout-ish. I mean, the concept is fine. It's just the execution is bland. I feel kind of bad. It's like I'm knocking the fire characters after a day of nothing but praise for the water characters, but really that's kind of how it is. I like the water ones more than the fire ones, and even then I only really dig a couple of the fire ones, like Igniter. Igniter is awesome. He's basically a guy made of fire wearing a suit of armor with a burning sword. How is that not awesome, especially when everything on the armor is metallic? Everything on the sword and the armor is metallic. The fire has a nice molded and transparent orange, or translucent orange, the same as the base. And then, you know, it's got that same yellow airbrushed effect that the base has. I think the only fire on him that's not translucent orange is that which is his face, which is painted onto like the armor plastic. And all of the armor is in metallic blue or silver, and he just looks brilliant. He had kind of a strange release schedule in that he came out with a 3DS starter pack, but he didn't hit shelves as a single character until like almost the end of the Spyro's Adventure Waves. He was put out in a 3-pack with Camo and Warnado, and those guys were also released as singles at the same time. So if you didn't pick up the 3DS version, you had to wait kind of a while to get this guy, as opposed to Stealth Elf, who was, you know, readily available at the same time, or Dark Spyro, who was completely exclusive to the 3DS version. He was a timed exclusive, kind of like Drill Sergeant and Whirlwind in that regard. So, but I absolutely love his design, and his gameplay is excellent. He just tears through everything. And he just looks like a fucking badass. You know, he's got a big burning sword and he's made of fire wearing armor. How is that not cool? So that's the 4 fire characters. Again, overall, I'm personally not as fond of them as the water characters. You know, it's all a matter of opinion. Do I think they're not worth picking up? Absolutely not. I think they're completely worth picking up, you know. The whole point of a collection is to get all of them, or at least as many as you can. You know, so yeah, dig them. You know, especially Sunburn and Igniter. They're just a hell of a lot of fun. Plus, with Sunburn, you get the Dragon's Peak pack. So, this has been Zealous Talon with Day 2 of the Skylanders Spyro's Adventure and the Fire characters. Thank you again to my 100 subscribers. Please stay tuned.